Hello, everyone. Nice to see you here. See who we got. Deborah, Marge, Crafting Memories, Katia. Wonderful. Crafting Memories, that round robin is still just in my head too. It's still just kind of going around. I did see that the list of what's the choices from the card decks was up today in the Facebook group. Um, so it's going to be interesting to take a look at that and see what we can do. You're able to make the diagram. It's not to scale, right? I'm just working on getting one to scale for the size 20 thread that I'm using. I think like for you using the size 80, you're not going to want to make your diagram that tiny for people to read. Um, your diagram will have to be larger than the actual one, as long as it's in proportion. Now you have something to sketch, something up, and you. Hi, Sue. You made the diagram on the polar sheet. Wonderful. What I'm wondering is which type of a polar grid does everyone like best? Do you like having the circular divisions on it, or just the spokes, or you used your tatted piece? Great. That's if you can do that, that's wonderful. So I hope what I'm trying tonight will work. I'm going back to something that I made, and I think I better look and see if I can get it pulled up in Inkscape. I have a couple things pulled up in Inkscape. Already, but hi, Jeremy. Does it look like what we have about 5 minutes left before we actually start? I think we'll see if I can talk and get something checked out. Hi, Sharon. Nope, I'm not finding what I had. I think I had a diagram that I'm going to do another one tonight, and hopefully all the steps work so I can show you what I did and what was interesting about it. hate sitting here silently. Sometimes it's like, what am I going to talk about though? Let's see. Oh, Marge, that's great that you've added up several elements to get an idea of the stitch counts and size relationship. That's wonderful. And I did get the homework from you, which I have to show, your grid. I think I mentioned in the afternoon class about the funny message I was getting about the frame numbers per whatever they do it, second, I don't know, wasn't right. And I had that error message, and I talked to Tammy, and she said she gets the same thing and just ignores it because, I mean, we don't know what it really is. It's something she said in the streaming software that we use. But I didn't seem to have much of a lag problem today. So it's funny how they keep. And the other thing I found today, and I forgot to ask Tammy about it, if she had a problem with that too, is that I was able to check that I wanted the live chat, but the other box I was supposed to check that for to have the live a replay along with it would not check no matter what I did, either this afternoon or tonight. Um, and so I do not know yet if there's going to be, the chat is going to come up on once the replays are up. My lighting, I look so much better this afternoon. Today I'm so washed out and white. I don't seem to have a way to get the lighting to work better for me here in this room. So you get to see me looking like a ghost. Okay, it is 6 o'clock. Let's get going. I'm going to switch to my screen and get Inkscape up. So here is my Inkscape window that I'm going to be using today. But let me pull up a couple different things. First of all, I want to pull up this right here, which is Katia's homework. This is her diagram of the, back it out a little, and make sure you're seeing it on you are seeing it on the screen. Okay, good. Let's see. You think the number of frames per second, that's what, yeah, used to be 1/4 and then improved the images, right? Says we don't have the right frames per second. I think I'm supposed to have 8 and I've only got 4 or something like that. But I looked all through the settings in the streaming software and don't see anywhere where you can change that. And there's no place in YouTube to change it that I know of. I've looked, so yeah, it is really good, isn't it? And notice she's got it very paled out in the background she's got a lot of circles on there, but it's so light colored that it doesn't interfere with the design. And she's used some really nice coloring on it. And one of the things, if you're going to sell any patterns, color is wonderful. And if it's going to be something that people are going to download online as an electronic file or something, the pattern, it's wonderful how they have the colors. And even in a book, it is too. The only thing you have to think about is um, how expensive you want your book to be to produce it. Uh, it's a lot more expensive to the more colors you have in a book, especially if you have photographs. But like Marilee's books are so gorgeous, and so many designers' books are, and they do use the full color, which does really make it really nice visual. The background is a graph paper. Well, actually, no, it's not the graph paper, I don't believe. It's the screen without a background fill in it. I don't know if, 'cause I don't think, oh, is that a grid, Katia, that you've got behind it, a regular one? So anyway, this is a beautiful um, drawing, ready to go on. And this, you see on here, how well you can see this. This is Marge Worth's polar grid that she made. This was her homework she sent in. I am curious though how you got, did you use the polar grid tool or did you make this by hand? Because I noticed that there's different spaces between the concentric circle divisions, smaller and larger, which I haven't seen a way to get the different spaces, um, the different sizes like that. In document properties, it's the background display. That's what I thought it was, the background display, not a grid. Hi, Janella. We're looking right now. This is the graph that Marge did. And then we just finished looking at Cadius. I wanted to mention, nope, where'd Cadius go? I wanted to mention one more thing, and that was about the grid lines she was using. I mean, not the grid, the polar grid lines. Her circles are all equally spaced, which I know that was done in the polar grid tool in Inkscape. Um, and hers are quite close together and she has a lot of them. So it's interesting to know if you feel it's, especially if working on a printed out sheet, on the screen this is great because you can really get your elements lined up nice using these as well as the spokes. So whether it's going to be personal preference for people how many circular ones they like or not. There's a way to have the differences, okay, between each circle. You sent the wrong one, made several with different divisions. Okay. That one has, yes, it does have 8 division. It would need 6 if it's going to be used for the round robin. But I don't know if Marge intended that just for, did you intend, oh, you sent the wrong with several different divisions. Okay. I have to decide what I wanted to show you. Did you use the stamping tool on this, Katia? Or did you use one of the other methods for getting your center circle of 6? Oh, in the path, in the layers you can, can't you? Is that where you're turning? You can change them, adjust them in the layers palette, in the paths. Let me pull up the layer. I don't know if you use the clone tool. And then did you stamp them while you were using the clone tool or just adjust them manually? Hi, Lingyo. Welcome. We're looking right now at Katia's diagram that she sent to me. And remember, you can send any homework and all for the design classes, right to me at SK Tatting Classes, and that's classes with an S at gmail.com. The same one that's in the emails that you receive about class. So let's put that one down now. And here's the graph I'm using today. And I did put in some, line up a horizontal and a vertical line with the center here. I'm going to pretend I have a center in there already. And let me show you, I've got a second page here. And you can see I imported my elements this is my card that I tatted for my sizing. And what I'm going to be doing is now I'm going to draw over the top of these. And I did, let me get my layers up here. Let's see if I can make a new layer. For some reason, yesterday all day when I was working, I was able to make new layers. Today, I don't know why. It's just like last week. Once we were in class, for some reason, I'm not getting my add layers to come up. And I don't think I have anything selected in here. Oh, wait, there we go. This is my image right here. And if you look down, see if I can get this up a little bit. I had changed the opacity so that it's faded out instead of looking like when it was first imported. I don't know why I'm not seeing all of my, I'm going to look at my history and see what I have. There's my polar grid. Import pages. Oh, there it is. Okay, that's before I changed the opacity on the layer. That's how it came up. And because I want to trace over the top of these I want to make a sample of a diagrammed ring for each different size. And then I'll keep that so that I can always copy and paste that size that I want. Well, here's where I changed the opacity. And this is my undo history. Remember, that is under your edit menu. It's the second one down. Under undo and redo, you've got undo history, and it's Shift Control H. And I know, Sue, you mentioned that Control I's comes first, but I think in most programs it does, but in Inkscape, they have the Shift Control. They have it listed with Shift first and then Control. What I have found is if I just put my pinky finger or one of my fingers on both the Shift and Control keys at the same time, like then would hit the H or the L for layers, it works just fine. It doesn't matter the order, or if you push them both down at the same time, you still can use the shortcut keys that way. And this undo history is so wonderful. Um, I can see down here, right down here, this one right here is where I changed the opacity. And then I had made a little ring and I deleted that. Now go down to the bottom here where I am now. And now I will make my ring, and I'm going to quick make one here. And I know that this is 10, 9, 8. And I know the center 6 rings of the round robin, they're 6 picot 2, picot 2, picot 8. Oh, wait a minute, that's 6 picot 2, that's 8 and 8, that's 16. So I need my, this is 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Whoops. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. This one right here. I'm going to keep my eye on that one, and I'm going to bring it over. And if there's anyone new here, that's how all shortcut keys work. Everything in the triangle brackets are, oh, at the same time. I wasn't sure if you had to press them in order. I just press them at the same time and they work. Okay. Now I forgot which one it was. This one right here. So again, I'm just going to, I don't seem to have fill or stroke here. I'm just going to make me a quick little ring to match this. And I wish I could make a new layer to put it on, but if that won't work tonight, all my layers are showing. This, I believe, is my, and I think this one's probably the grid, which that's on the other. Put the count inside the rings, yes. Um, Once I get these all made, I'm going to do that. Now that I have a fill, I'm going to draw my little oval over that. And this, the opacity is going to be down farther. I haven't changed it because I can't put it on a new layer. Okay, so that's the size I want. I'm going to copy this. And, my grid's not showing now. My computer, I don't know why when I get on screen, it starts acting up. Unless I did something in my history. I know I went down to the bottom. This is the strangest thing I've ever seen. I don't even have all my layers anymore. I gotta pull my history. I can't pull it out right now. Well, I have my polar grid. Let's see if I can put my, I do a paste, if it'll put my, oh, it did. It still put my ring in. You can see on that size 20 thread how small those are going to be on the graph, and they're going to fit in about right there. Katia, did you also send me a first homework that had the filled in pink 6 rings around the center? I was looking today to find out it, and which makes me think, when you send in homework to me, would you in the file name add your own name to it? Because once I start collecting homework, I can go back and look, and I'm collecting it in a folder that I've named for each of you. That was not you, okay. Um, but even so, if anything gets mixed up, I would like to have your name in the file name. Yeah, it could be visibility switched off. I know the eye, yeah, I've been using the eye. See, here's my polar grid eye. Maybe I've got an eye in here someplace off. And that's my little filled in ring. And everything's on the same layer. And that's still clicking on the add layers right here, just will not add a layer. So last week we reviewed the stamping around. Now this week, what I'd like to do is just review. After this week, we won't be reviewing anymore, but for anybody who didn't come before the holidays, or even if you did come and want to review, this is how we'll do it. And when I'm lining up something, I will, with my, if I don't have a polar grid, I would just pull a guide out. And it's easy to see just by looking if your arrows match on the lines. So I know I've got that centered well. Now, I am going to go down. I'm going to use my space bar and count 1, 2, 3. Well, 4 puts it a little far, but 3 up from my horizontal polar grid line puts it so it fits right in this little wedge of our design. Now I know rather than stamping, what I could do, I'm not going to try and get the stroke on this right now. You can use it the way it is. I can clone it by hitting Alt D. Remember that's under, clone is, I believe, under, no, it's under, way down here, under edit, create a clone. There's a lot of other things you can do with clones, but we're just going to create a clone. Now I pull it out, I see I have a clone. I'm going to, since I have an exact oval, I don't have to flip it. I probably should mention that again. If I turn this object to path, and I get my node tool, which is N on the keyboard, I can double click, I can click on this, and I can either move my handles in if I want to keep them, and I hold the control key down when I'm moving. Whoops, it didn't help it this time stay in position, did it? They want to flip around. I think it sets my hand tonight that's not working good. So I'm just going to go up here and make it into an angle point. But look what I did. Let me get my selection tool. I changed the clone and not the original, which again, remember, if you want to change the clone, I'm going to undo that. If I wanted to change the clone, I would go to my original and make, whoops, going to make that into a path. Get my node tool, click down here. Now watch, this one is just an oval again. Now I can click. Every week this is okay, there's my original. I had an extra clone. I know it's when I hit the Alt and then hit the D, I hit the D too hard and it puts more than one clone on there. So now I bet both of these will change it. If I change this one, again, I need to make that one into a path and get my node tool and click on it and go up here to the angle. And it didn't change, did it? My clone, even though I made a clone. Or did I make a duplicate? Whatever. This is, sometimes I feel like I might confuse you guys more than, my problem is that I'm not getting that box. In the box, you have a drop down. See, if I'm on my layer and click on the add layer right here, this is the add layer. I click on it and usually my box pops up right over here somewhere and I'm not seeing it pop up anywhere. It's not behind here or anything. Usually it pops right up in about this part of my screen where it was popping up yesterday. Oops, now I'm not on that. I'm going to pull that down in place. What I just wanted to show you was I can stamp it around, but then you're kind of using your own, drop it here and drop it there, unless you set up your degrees that you want to move it. I bet I know what I'm not doing for my clones. No, it is just Alt D, create a clone. There's my clone. And last week we were rotating it, but we had to move the center point, remember, to rotate it right around the center of the circle. But basically we were eyeballing it into place rather than moving it by increments. So this week I wanted to show you the other way that sometimes can come out more even for you, is to just, once it's in place here, I'm going to flip it on the axis. Now, if I go, notice it didn't go the same amount of distance away right here, but I know if I start it right here, that it was using my down arrow, 1, 2, 3, and just a bit. So it looks like it. It didn't quite go down, I don't think, right, but if I match it up to fit inside of here, then I know it's the same distance. If you didn't have a polar grid, you could go by the clicks down or up. I'm going to use Shift and select both of them. I'm going to copy them and duplicate them. So I'm going to do Alt D. Now the two together, I'm going to group them, Control G. I used Control G for group them. No, they didn't group them, did it? There we go. Now they're grouped. Now I can move them together. And they go right in there. Now you know they're all the same. I still think that something with my computer, that the ruler guides are just not quite right on the screen. I wonder if I've got them set up. But anyway, this is just another way. Do another set and rotate instead of stamping them by hand. Now notice they're rotating around this point right down here. That's because, let's see, looks like my rotation point is right in the center. There we go. And still see they're not coming out quite right. But that's just another way. That's a review. Now, once I have those there, I'm going to take my pen tool and just at least get, whoops, I forgot to double click to end it. And I still need to take out, I'm using my Shift Control F for my fill and stroke. And I'm going to take off my fill on that and add stroke paint. And I usually go to points and do 0.7, anywhere from 7.2 to 7.5 points to get the size of line I want. So there's my line, and I still have the same, it didn't change to the black. See how it's off right there? And it doesn't even look right. I'm going to do again one. This time I'm just going to go from here and double click over there. And then I'm going to grab it in the center with my node tool. Now this one was like this. And I just want to get this far in it because what I want to show you is using the edit paths to do a different, make the rest of the rows in a different way. Isn't that path the layer, inside layer? Yeah, you need to get the Alt plus the arrow, move your ring very slightly. Okay. You had the same issue. Maybe I'm trying to put layer in on a layer. You might need to go back to the document to add the layer. Yeah, I'm going to have to play with that and see what's happening. Because I'm just not figuring out the difference. But let's do one more review. And if I was going to put numbers in here, I would just, I would want them on a new layer. And then you're just going to use your text tool like we've used before. Say you want a 6, and you'd put it down, you know, like down here and make it smaller for the ring and the chains. Another thing, these are awfully small. So whether you could put, you know, here's my 6. I'm not switching colors right now. I could go up and I can even change the size. by manually changing it. Um, these are going to have to be a diagram. They're going to have to be awfully small. I'm getting a sublayer inside the layer. Okay, okay, that's what I'm getting instead of a new layer. Okay. Um, like lettering them A through whatever right on the inside. Like say I want to make this into, I got to get my, an A. I should keep changing I should get my lines all changed for you, the colors and everything. Let me go here to my fill and stroke and let me try this one. I'm going to go down here to stroke. It's not changing my stroke. I tell you, I get on, I do it when I'm not on video and things work, and then I get on here. I don't know, maybe I'm just not the one to teach this class. I hope I'm not confusing you too much. What I actually wanted to show you is how you can play around and get some different looks for another layer. And I guess I'm going to leave that right there too, because all I'm using this is as a something guide to go around. Because what I want to do now is get down, and I'm going to put these lines, these guidelines, right over the horizontal and the vertical. Because what we're going to do is going to be rotated around our center point for our entire doily. But we're going to use that effects again. And this time I do want to get, I'm going to be working only in this quadrant. And what I'm going to do for right now is leave the polar grid back there, but I actually am going to be using my two blue guidelines that I pulled out from the ruler to make this effect work. Now say I know I'm going to want, like, let's see if I can put in the three little rings. That are on this. I'm going to get this changed. I'm going to get the fill to a black. Fill. Oh, look, there's my line. Okay, there's my stroke. Now let's see if I can get my stroke paint the color I want. I don't think I want it selected on the rotate. I just want, I thought this was black down here. Let me go all the way down here and see if I can get total black. That's not what I want. Yeah, that just gives, that's my fill. I should be able to do shift and click on the color and get my line to change color. I'm going to go to the CMYK color because I know I can choose my 100% black. I must be forgetting steps. Click Shift and then the color. Yeah, that's what I was just trying. Shift and the color. Maybe I can make it a dark blue. Oh, it did change. I'm going to leave it this color because that's a simple thing and I know. Okay, so there's one ring. I'm going to make them, let's see. I'm just going to duplicate this one and make it smaller. And we're going to see what we get out of this. I'm going to duplicate it again. I can Control D. I don't have to copy it first. I can just Control D or Control or Alt D and get the clones or the things. Okay. I know that anything I put in this quadrant right here is going to be duplicated around. And so now I'm going to just draw. Say I know I'm going to want to chain from here over to here. On my next row, that's where I'm going to do my joining. I got to fill again here. Okay. Now maybe I want to make another copy of this, a duplicate, and move it up. Maybe I think I'm going to make the next round be, let's turn it. Maybe we're going to do this next round as a split ring. Now I'm going to select all of these together. I'm going to get that one too. I'm even going to leave my wonky chain there. I'm going to group them. Now I'm going to go to path effects. So I'm on the path, go down all the way down to the bottom to path effects. And then I'm going to go object down to path effects, or I'm going to, where'd my path effects go? Here's my path effects. Everything I have in this quadrant, even if it's not grouped now, should, not what I have down here, just what I've drawn up here. I'm going to click, I've got path effects and there's nothing here because we have to go down to the lower left corner and click on the plus sign. Oops, I didn't select it again. My path effects aren't coming up. There's something with my program that's crazy. Let me go path and go down and path effects. What is this telling me? That's my undo history, my path effects. Oh yeah, I needed the chain too. For some reason, I am not getting select a path reshape. I wonder if they're going somewhere else in here. Maybe it's because they're on the same layer. Let me try a new document and I'll just pretend there's something in the middle of it. Oh, do I have a name? Or did I just read? Thought I just saw something. Do you have a name? I'm going to start making a whole bunch of practice videos and actually recording them to see if I can practice doing it that way and get these things to work. Okay, what I'm going to do now, let me get my layers up. I think I have one layer now on this new document. I'm going to bring out two guidelines, a vertical and a horizontal. I'm going to zoom in and make me some rings. Okay, there's one. There's two. I'm going to, whoops, I guess I had to better close that or get it down. I'm going to take this ring and put it right here. Let's see. I want it up here because I'm going to pretend I already have something in the middle of here. Then I'm going to put this one up here. And then I'm going to add a chain here. It goes who knows where. Then I'm going to add another ring. And I hope tonight's class isn't a total wash. I might have to redo some of these, and maybe I know I want another little, maybe some, oh, let me get my path tool. Make some little spiky little spiky picot. And I think I'm going to make one smaller ring up on top of that. Now let's see if I can do this and make my paths work this time. Path, path effect. Only one item can be selected. I've done this with multiple items. Maybe I, one item, that's right. That's why we group them. Control G, group them. Now let's see if my, there, that worked. I had them grouped, I know what I had before, and that didn't, and it, in the other document. Okay, we're going down to the mirror image. Let's see if we can find the mirror image. Mirror image right here, it's the star. Now I have two. Now this right here, just because of the way I've done it, and see my guideline, it didn't go right even on my guideline there. This I can choose now to rotate. And I'm going to back out so you can see what I'm doing. Going to select them all. And instead of mirror symmetry, I'm going to go and select the rotate. Where'd you go, rotate? The little squares right here, rotate copies. Now I've got it already set for the number of copies. So that's going to give me 6 copies, which you see right here. And the reason they look so weird is because I need to click on it again. I need to take this center point. I'm going to actually, yeah, I need my nodes. I deleted some. I got to go back my history. Hello, history. Where are you? Create and apply path. Okay. I'm bringing my center of rotation point down to the center here. I know I need to have the create and apply path. I got to edit my note. There we go. This is what edit. I had to, I went back to where I just created the copies. Then I need to click on my node tool or control N. And you can see this is the center point. If I drag that down and put it right at the center here, now I have a whole round of elements and I can change them by changing this first quadrant. So it looks to me like I have an extra, ungroup them. How many times do I have to practice? Oh, all I've got here is my select. I'm, I'm supposed to be able to edit these and move them around. Oh, there's what it did. It gave me different, it pulled out of all of them a different point for my picos. Oh, I know, I've got to be up on one of my originals here. See if I change that ring, I've got a whole new ring shape. And I can pull out, move it around. Now this ring is, my ring shape is right here. With my node tool, I should be able to change that and change just the one. I have done this and made it work. I think you saw one in this area that wasn't grouped with the other one. That could be 5 copies plus the original. Yeah, I made 6 copies. You're right. I made way too many copies. Let's go back to the group right here. And let's go our path. Effects. I know we can use this for chatting. We really can. I wonder if I just rotate these copies. see if I rotate this how many times, and then I go to my and click on my node tool and then drag it out. Now there's more what I was looking for. Now I've got, and I did already do it, I already had it set for 6. I really need one less. So let's go back to the path effects. I am going to make a mirror image of it first. Well, let's do it without the, let's do this. Let me make a little bit more here. Let me take, and I think I have to ungroup this. And go in. Now I think I just have the, I'm going to make a duplicate of this. Because we're supposed to be able to manipulate these later and add to them and change them and fix them up. That poor little guy is going to go into a twisted picot. So I'm going to now group these, group them, and I'm going to try and get the path effects, and let's find that mirror image again. You can slice, show handles. Where'd my mirror image go? That's roughen. I don't want roughen. That would be interesting to try. I have tried it. Mirror symmetry. Now I want to get the next one and rotate copies, but let me put it at 5. See what we get. I bet I only need, I've got both sides. Is it gonna, let me see what happens when I use the 6, which I already have. All I'm trying to do right now is get my paper to go down. What if I only do it number of copies 3 times? And I hit enter after I picked the 3 times. Now I'm going to get my node tool. I'm going to pull this down. And I have some extra things here. I do only have 3 of them, however. I had a beautiful one made before, and I can't even find the sample of it. Okay. Oh, I want my mirror image back. I'm going to try this one more time. Oops. I swear, people, this is crazy. Maybe I ought to stick to regular design class like I mentioned earlier. Okay, I got mirror symmetry. Now I want to rotate copies. Number of copies. Let's just do 5 again. Okay. I think this is going to take me some playing around with it again. And I I unselected it. There we go. Now I guess if I'm going to have to go farther out for a center point for what I drew, and I'm going to leave it like that, and I'm going to look at it. It's hard to see it because of the color. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. I've only got 5, so I would have needed 6 to get 6 points. And this is what it looks like. If I select it all, now let me get it all selected. Let's see if I go with my selection tool. See, I could make it go down then as if, well, let me, and I only have 5, but I could have had the 6 and put it around what I already had formed for the center. So this, if I'd been using the round robin center already, I could have had this go around the round robin, and then I still should be able to manipulate each of these. I want to manipulate a ring, not that. I want to manipulate one of the rings. Say I want to, maybe I decide I want this right here to be a round of split rings going all the way around. And at this point, I still could go back now. Whoops. I could go back now and I have to ungroup it all. And I lost the whole thing. I'm going to show you a place where I learned how to do this. And maybe you can use it. Maybe because I didn't save the document. Took too much Inkscape memory. Now that is a good possibility. That's a good. Go strange when you don't have every so often. Yeah, yeah. Um, there could have been one of the center that wasn't grouped. Okay, let me show you a site that, let me get myself a new window up here, that I watch. And then I take it and try and turn it into, let me go to, oops, I got a chain video. There's 2 Inkscape tutorials that I like, to review what I'm learning and try other things. One of them is Iron Echo. Some of these just aren't the greatest. Iron Echo Design. And this snowflake tutorial is really interesting. But let me see where that mandala one is. Right here. And I'm going to keep watching it until I can get it, make it work right for tatting. And let me, here's before he has pulled it down to his center circle. And then you'll see it separated around the center circle. And then by changing the nodes, he's getting all the curvy shapes. And you can see right here, there's one selected. And that's what my program should be doing. And the interesting thing is that I have more than enough memory in the drive that I have my Inkscape program in. But this is Iron Echo design. And also, oops, the other one that is good to watch is Logos by Nick. Like this one has a really good stamping. I don't want to send you here for you to learn all your Inkscape for diagramming, but you could. What I try and do is break down the new techniques. These are new techniques, some of them, in Inkscape, and break them down. Um, Not the drive, the session when working needs saving often. Yeah, that could, well, maybe that is it. I'm just not saving, manually saving enough, Sue. Is everybody else still here? Are you still watching? I'm going to really start working on these more and more. And let me get my face shot so I can talk to you again if you're still here. How many of you are still here? If you've given up, I don't blame you. And I'll start working on more things that will work. I'm going to get this down. I'm going to get it down and get it working. You think you saw one in the center that wasn't grouped crafting memories. You guys are still there, so I think we'll have to end it tonight. I haven't given you much. But hopefully you could, yes, you're still here. Thank you everybody for sticking with me. What would you like more learning on? What would you, and you're still learning. Yes, I can at least tell you what should be happening, even if it's not working with my program. And really play around with it and see how some of these, to me now, I know I'm going to want to go back to this one the one that I just made, and see if I can make that into a round on the doily, the one that I just played with and got. I'm going to see if I can use that for the next round of my doily. So hopefully that'll work. And I can get it all put together. I am going to tap the center of the doily this week and get the whole thing diagrammed. And I can diagram it just from the, my sample pieces, the samples I'm making. One other thing I was going to show you. Let me see if I still have it up. I'm going to go back to the screen again. I forgot to show you this, and some of you have seen it before. Let me go back to my screen. This is a template I use, and you can see it's not all aligned yet. But these are the way that you diagram. And I still haven't finished updating it. And you can see I've played with it and I have some extra. Let me see if I can get some of these out of here. I'm getting the right one. Oh, no, I have an extra chain in here. Now the two are grouped together. I've got extra copies. This is one of the ways you can diagram a, Oops, no, there's your regular chain. This is how you can diagram, and you can see I have a, oops, I guess I got to move that individually. Maybe if I take it off, it'll be better. This is how you can diagram a Josephine chain. These are Josephine knots, the 3 different ways that I've seen so far of diagramming them. This is how you can diagram a split ring. Usually you'll see them just like this. This one I've darkened in the right side, and this doesn't, I don't like this one because it doesn't have the split ring really, the line down the center indicates a split ring. And this is like my legend, and here you can see I have a sample, and these I can copy and paste copy them from here and paste them into the document I'm doing at the time. I didn't, Sharon, and I'll tell you why. That list of shortcuts. Well, let me finish with this quick and then I'll talk about that. These are the things you always need in a design. We can go over making the arrows, direction arrows. As you can see, I've made that one green. Frayed picots, and this you can, if you have one of these, you can always copy and paste from this for a template. And I will show you how to do the arrows for those next week, for those of you who don't know how. And we'll look at more. I can move this all around. I've got a frayed picot down here, how you can diagram that. There's the way the swirl join is usually diagrammed. Now, I don't know if this is for twisted picots or not. That's something I came up with, but the rest of them are ones that I know I've seen. And I also up here have thread size 3, size 30 and 40. I make even samples of picots that I can just drag down from my template and drop in my box. I've left off on the side of the desktop because these won't print. Anything you do on the outside of here won't show up when you print it. But I use this for diagramming, copying my symbols off of there. Arrows would be grand. Yes, we'll do arrows next week. Okay, let's go back to the list and I'll tell you why. When I looked in the properties of that document, Sharon, it said the author was Hal, H-A-L. And so I don't know who that is. So that wasn't one that I handed out that I know of. And so because of copyrights, I'm not going to pass that out. However, I do have, let's see, down here. Here. Whoops, did I just close that? Well, I tell you what that was. That was I showed you the logos by Nick. So let me, oh, I do still have, here it is. I didn't close it. I just moved it. Let me bring this over. This is logosbynick.com. He has the videos. And he also has, it's just logosbynick.com. And then this is the Inkscape keyboard shortcuts -2//. But he has a nice list right here. Now, he's got a download. You can download and subscribe. What I found for the download was, I believe it turned out to be the blue version. Whoops, no. Actually, I clicked a download button, then what I got was this what that I don't think is as easy to just look at and read. What I did is I just copied up here, copied, and then pasted it into a Word document. And this to me looks like it could be divided up once it's printed, divided up and put onto the index cards if you want. So this is what I'd suggest. I was making my own, but I think this would be faster for all of us just to, and for me to do it. We can each just copy and paste that ourselves. I won't copy it and then paste it out or post it anywhere because these are his copyrighted information. So you can only download it yourself as a copy for yourself. So that's where we're going to end tonight. So I hope you still learn despite all the going back and forth, and that we'll get together again next week and see what more we can do. Oh, okay. L is Heather A. Johnston. All right. So she's got it someplace. Yeah, I know it's not Harola, I don't think, but Heather A. Johnston. That okay. Maybe we can find her website and get the copy that Karen sent to me because it was a really, really nice one for Inkscape. It was shortcut keys. I probably have it. Let's see if now that I know whose it is, let's see if I can. I don't think it, even though showing it, I could show it to you, but it would take a while. So I'm just going to have us be done tonight. And I'm going to stop my streaming and we shall see you next week. Happy diagramming, everyone.